Welcome to the Duck Legs Podcast, episode 11, Dr. Ben Fung.
Yeah.
Yup.
The man himself, Dr. Ben Fung.
Coming to you, hot.
He was, as we went on in our physical therapy, Zazu.
Dogs in the background.
As we went on in our physical therapy student careers, we're still in school. I remember when I started to look on social media and the internet for physical therapy information on future jobs, on the outlook of our profession, Dr. Ben Fung was the first person I came across. I think he was the first person to be this is what a realistic salary looks like, and here's your potential. He was the first physical therapy salary video that I came across.
Right. And isn't there something a bit calming about that process to know, here's your low end, here's the high end, this is what you can do to help yourself. Because I do feel in any career, sometimes you go into it and you're like, what am I going to make?
Yeah.
Yeah. What am I going to make?
And Ben Fung was there with the videos that, you can just tell by the videos and the way he is that this is a genuinely nice person that cares about people, that's trying to help people out there. I mean, and I got the chance to meet him in person at CSM. Super warm. I know he was jokingly called himself a warm and fuzzy guy, the warm and fuzzy half of UpDoc Media. This podcast that we're about to play, that we're leading into, we recorded this live on Facebook Live at CSM 2017 in San Antonio. I hit him up on Twitter I think the first day of CSM. Did not give him much notice. Hey, direct message. Hey, you free to do a podcast, Facebook Live with us sometime? And, that shows you the kind of person he is, that he was yeah, let's make it happen. Here's my number. You hit me up. You know how to find me, reach me, make it happen. So, Dr. Ben Fung, you are the best. And thank you so much for accommodating us on such short notice. And, I mean, you think about the people that are really positive influences on physical therapy and to all the students coming up, and his name definitely is the top, right?
Yeah.
Is who you think about.
Yeah. I mean, one of the top 5 that are really leading the student population. But back to this interview.
Yeah.
You guys came from he was doing something already, and then didn't you just kind of skirt off to the side after you got, you're hey, let's just kind of, he clandestine, just.
Man, so it was he had so much going on at CSM. I mean, everybody wants to talk to Ben Fung, all the students, all the professionals, right? And then he had his own speech. He had his own social media talk that he had to give that was actually that same day. So, luckily enough, he was so generous to make time for us.
That's so wild. And just shows you that he's prepared. He's ready for it. He's ready to put it out there. And he speaks a little bit about that. When someone offers, they say, this is how much money you're going to get. If you're not quick to have something, bang, I should get more money because of this. Prepared, have a good foundation.
Yeah, to know how to provide the value, to know how to go in there and knowing what you're worth,
Right. But if you go find him, what is his profile picture?
Snapchat,
right?
Man. Yeah.
Showing you the way to the future.
Yeah, I mean, dude's a marketing genius. Dude is a social media, I don't want to say guru, but and exactly, right? This is somebody that's very much on the forefront of media, of marketing, of the physical therapy profession, and he's trying to bring students and everybody else along with him. There's been a bunch of negative talk about physical therapy, and whether that's our salary, whether that's our job outlook, whether that's the burnout that's going to happen. We've heard a bunch of negative shit, right, from our professors, from other students, from recent grads, from longtime grads.
Yep.
Bunch of negative shit. If you want money, this ain't the profession for you. If you want this kind of career, this ain't the profession for you. Ben Fung is one of the few people that I first came across that was that mentality's bullshit. You need to have the abundance mindset, and this is how much potential you have in your career as a physical therapist and as a person, right?
Just so refreshing.
Yeah, super refreshing. He's the man. And he loves Star Wars too.
I remember when I listened to this, when I was watching you guys. I watched you on live actually because I watched it live.
You watched it live?
Yeah, I did watch it live. We did it live. Watch it live. And boy, you know, I just listening to it, I got done with it and I felt better. Just listen. I didn't have to be there. I felt better just listening to it. So hopefully our listeners can get a little bit of that too.
Yeah. And basically, to sum up this episode, this episode is about how to negotiate, right? How to bring to your employer the value that you can bring to their organization or their company, how to show your worth, and also basically it's going to sum up to $250,000.
$250,000.
That's how much ballpark, generally speaking, a PT can bring to a facility.
Right.
So, going off of that number, let's go negotiate some shit, right? Let's not be meek and mild stepping up to that table, being like, don't buy that bullshit. You're a new grad. This is what we typically pay new grads, or I just hired a new grad for this. So how dare you coming in expecting that big number? Get out of here. And I guess his message to that was, if somebody treats you that way, if the employer across the table treats you that way, disrespects you in that sense, fuck them. Right? Right? You got that?
That's right. That's
you want to end on that?
Yes,
Hell
I
yeah.
do. Oh man, that is. I'm sorry.
We gotta keep this too. But right?
Yes.
I mean, but the point behind that was like, if somebody's gonna come and lowball you, that's not a place for you to stick around anyway.
Right.
I mean, people may think that, we're being some cocky ass students saying that we want to come. I mean, Daimir said he won $100K on the episode, right? Like, boom.
Quick to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I'll go $100K off the get go.
And I mean, initially, from what everything that I've been told prior to that, you look at that and it's like, that's a little crazy.
Yeah,
And that,
yeah.
I mean, be realistic. But then you hear the numbers that Dr. Ben brings, and then you really take a look at this shit for a second. You look at how much money you invested in your damn education, and you're like, I make $250,000 for this whole hospital, for this clinic. $100K doesn't sound that bad now, you know?
Yeah, you're still making $150K profit from me being here.
Yeah. Hey, go fuck yourself, huh?
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, $150K because I'm here.
Boom.
Boom. Boom.
Hey.
They're not ready for that yet,
Yeah,
Jeb.
these were all inside references.
I was thinking about something else too.
Yeah.
Oh. But in a job setting though, if they lowball you like that, jobs are about relationships, and you can't just go into a job. It's got to be up and down process with your boss and you and your boss. It got to be back and forth. So yeah, if they lowball you, and it's not going to work. That's not your place, and it's not that there's anything bad wrong with you. It's just not. It's not you.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, hello, Duck Legs Podcast live
Podcast.
from CSM.
2017, San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah.
If y'all know where that is.
Hopefully they do. So,
Alright, I got it here too.
we have
Oh, I'm behind.
a legend with us today here at CSM. One of the people that has played an instrumental role in me having a positive outlook into my future in physical therapy, Dr. Ben Fung.
Yes.
And
From UpDoc Media,
Doc Media.
from killing the game as a neuro PT in acute care.
Doing what I can. Honestly, what it is being confident in what you know.
Yeah.
And being confident accurately. Not self-denigrating, but also being very honest with yourselves where your weaknesses are.
Right.
And I told another group, one thing you never want me to treat is upper extremity, because I'll just make it worse. But if you have a stroke in acute care, if you have any, acute issues, one of my strengths is differential diagnosis. I know how to find things, like what's going on. I know how to do that. How to treat it, I'm pretty good at that. If you're better, I'm going to point to that person, because that is what's going to make this whole situation successful.
Right. I'm glad you talked about, being comfortable and confident and finding out your niche, because I think as students, sometimes we have the thought that, we want to go 5 different routes and we're scared that we're not going to be able to do everything, when in fact you heard it from the legend himself that if he's treating upper extremity, he's going to make it worse. So we want to make sure that we find what we're comfortable with and what we're confident with, and to not have that pressure of, trying to do everything and anything in the PT field.
So, intros. Other intros.
Dahmer Jones here, SPT.
Adam Huynh, SPT.
Yeah.
I'm Steven Liuza, second year SPT.
Where at?
Oklahoma, Langston University. Go Lions.
I don't know if I need to sell that, but I will get back to the interview. So you talk about confidence as a student and building that and having that knowledge. What are a few things that you would say that students need to know so that they can bring things to the negotiating table early on?
Early on.
Early on. Just one or two things. I know you always.
Thank you, Ron. All right, so I guess let's just back it all up, right? Because I think it's easy as students to go, okay, I'm going to be 6 figures in debt because I'm going to go to school unless I go to like a state university where like this, it's affordable or more affordable, right? But even then, you're accruing some kind of debt, unless you're working full time, which means you're a beast.
Which means, or you're failing.
Or failing, yeah. But ultimately, like, let's just kind of bring it back because everybody understands the concept. You have to spend money to make it. You're spending money on school so you can make more money, right? You spent time in your younger years in secondary and primary education. That time could have been spent working or getting the education so you can do more with it. And that's really what it is you want to do more from what you've learned. You've learned content, now you want to turn content into competency.
Yes.
Right? That's where you want to go. Now, then you think about it, like, what are my competencies as a physical therapist, as a doctor of physical therapy?
Ooh.
All right?
Yes.
And what does that bring? And you always have to come back to the monetary level. Now, I'm not a gold digger. I got to tell you this. Like, when I was making the least amount of money as a physical therapist, I was actually the happiest. Okay? But when I made the most money, I actually gave away the most. I'm a believer in charity, with reason, and I'm a believer in, blessing and paying it forward. So when I made the most money as a PT, in corporate management and in home health, I was taking everybody out for meals because I could.
Right.
And it made me feel good that I was spreading that wealth, in a positive way it's not just me feeding somebody, it's me feeding them the life skills for that competency, right? So let's back it up. Where is the financial or economic justification of a physical therapist, a doctor of physical therapy? How much can a doctor of physical therapy bring into, say, a traditional outpatient clinic?
Right.
Right? Yeah. And it all goes back to stuff that myself, shout out Greg Todd, we all talk about. What's your average revenue per patient? What's your average revenue per month as a clinic?
Right.
What's the billing, what's the earning potential across the billing codes for a physical therapist, full-time, average of 2,080 hours a year?
Right.
And the answer is typically about $250,000. Because on average, no matter where you are, no matter where you are, if you have a general market mix like everyone else does, you have a pot of Medicare, you have a smidge of Medicaid or Medi-Cal if you're in California, you have some cash, you have some traditional insurances, some less traditional insurances, you have cash pay, you have that little mix. That's normal.
Yeah.
And on average, that always regresses to the mean, which means typically you're earning $70 to $80+ per patient every half hour. That's just typical in the industry. Right. And even if you're doing it for a full hour, you're still billing 4 units, so it's about the same thing, right? And so if you're doing it that way, and you do the math, and you multiply whatever it is, say 13 patients at 2 units each, a day across that 2,080 hours that you're working a year, that's going to be somewhere around $240,000 to $265,000 a year.
Yep.
And that's just the norm.
Okay.
All right? So that's what you can bring in.
Yes, that's what we're bringing in.
You can bring that in. So you can do that into a business unit.
That's awesome.
Right? Now the question is that your business unit or is it your employer's business unit?
Yeah.
Because if it's your employer's business unit, they take that money first. They give you a cut of that, typically 20 to 40%, give or take. And then the rest of it goes to building in the risk mitigation, the insurance, the other overheads. I call it the taxes and tip jar. All right, the 60% to 80% sometimes goes to taxes and tip jar, and you probably heard this. Well, reimbursement's going down.
Yeah.
I'm not able to sustain my business. I can't afford to pay you. You hear all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this right now, I think we're a group of younger professionals here, but if you know a more seasoned professional that's been in the business and they're struggling, I'm going to ask you to ask them this. Are they doing best practice financial and managerial accounting? Answer is probably not.
Probably not.
Because I guarantee you, any of you guys, right, if you get a cell phone bill that you weren't expecting you're digging through that.
Yes,
You're digging through that going,
Yeah.
who did that? Who did that?
When did I call Canada?
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, really, that's my story,
I
right?
often look at my
I got
bill
billed
like that.
$20 for calling Canada. It was a client. I didn't mind. I just wrote it off. But it was, first thing I did was, who did that? Oh, it was me. Right? Now that's where I got my famous story from. Like I got a couple of those stories I like to retell. One of the stories I like to retell is when I got promoted to a corporate management position as a rehab director. I didn't do magic, but what I did do was take a look at the numbers in a responsible, reasonable way. And I took a sunken department in the highest area of expenses, both living and operating in California, compared to what? Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, parts of Utah, Arizona. Those aren't exactly known to be like expensive places to be,
Absolutely
right?
not.
But California, kind of pricey. But
Yes.
I ended up in those chains of like 20 locations leading in what's called contribution margin. That's a contribution margin is your budgeted profit margin for your unit.
Okay.
All right? And so I went from like 2 to 3% to 24% in 3 months. Brand new corporate manager, 3 years out of school. And it's like, no, you need 5-10 years to be manager. You don't. You need exposure, you need mentorship, you need know-how. Right? And the know-how, you don't have to get an MBA like I did. I just decided to do it that way. You can do it through this. You can do it through other, other channels. Regardless, I just want to make sure we don't miss anything here. Right? Regardless, how I did that, I just took a look at our revenue streams. There's something called a profit pool analysis. Where am I making money? Where am I losing money? Why am I making money? Let's spend more efforts on where I'm making money, spend less efforts on where I'm losing money. And then all of a sudden, my profits skyrocketed. Right? But a lot of owners and managers don't do this because we're more obsessed with G codes. We're more obsessed with billing codes. We're more obsessed with, all these other things that unfortunately actually come after financial solvency. Right? So wait, let's just make sure we're being good good hosts.
What up, Josh? What up, Eric?
All right, I think Ron, I would recommend please find out average reimbursement per visit in your state. Absolutely. And also find out your average, what's your average what's your average payout as salary equivalents,
Right.
As a new grad, a couple years out, and a shout out, a little self thing, right? The PT Job Market Pulse, right?
Yes, yeah. I
Check
check
out the
that
PT Job Market Pulse. It's 100% free. All these guys know about it.
I'll look at
It's a public database that we created at UpDoc Media so that you can know by state, by zip code, by setting, by employment type,
Ooh.
all right, by experience.
What about local farmers markets?
Locals, farmers.
No.
Oh,
But I love their avocados, right?
Yeah.
I love their avocados.
I'm a fan.
But with all
Yes,
that, you
personally.
can tell what normal is for you. And I give you this whole trend breakdown of where the industry is going, what you can ask for confidently.
Yes.
And we just went on live with Greg Todd. You guys were there, guest stars, right? And we shared the story. Acute care, traditionally not known as a negotiable place. New grad right out of school, offered high 30s an hour, got 46 an hour after a simple negotiation for Monday through Fridays, and then 52 an hour for the weekends, right?
Because they always need them, because I know the job I work
They
at.
need them, right?
Yeah, I know.
And all it is asking nicely, respectfully, but demonstrating that value across the table.
Absolutely.
Because when somebody asks you, hey, so I just hired a new grad for this, why should I pay you any more? If you have an answer right then, go, hey, look, that new grad may not be me, they might be me, but I'll tell you this. I'm going to be the most dedicated team member you have. I have a little background in business. I've been mentored by some of the influencers in our spheres. And they talk, and we talk all the time. I know what is hurting you. I know what can help you. I have your back.
Yes.
As you, my team leader.
Yeah.
And so you can count on me when you're not there on a Saturday. I got you covered so that the Sunday guys don't get swamped. So on Monday, you're not coming into some proverbial fecal matter storm.
Yes. Yes. You don't want that. You don't
Right?
want that.
And I'm your guy.
Yeah.
Or I'm your gal.
Yeah.
I'm your person.
I'm your fecal matter guy.
Yeah. I will
I
take
got
that
that-
away and sweep it under the rug.
And
Yeah,
so
no.
we'll clean it all up
Yep.
on that weekend. And all of a sudden, sure, I'll pay you $50 an hour. Sure, I'll pay you $60 an hour.
Yeah.
Just so I don't have to deal with that on Mondays.
Hell
Yeah.
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 Right.
Who wants to deal with shit on Mondays?
I mean,
So, Ron, I think we
Got
talked to that. Content to, hey, Alan
Alan
Besseling.
Besseling.
ooh, Alan.
What's up?
Shout out to Canada.
Eric,
Alan.
what's up? Joshua, Ron. Just make sure we catching everybody. Nick, Seth King, and Eric UVGs. What's going on? So what else, guys? What else?
What
Yeah.
else we got?
So you got Steven. Who's the closest to graduating? I think it's Adam.
Yeah,
I'm
Adam.
very close to Edgar. Third year
Conference.
here. First time at a big national conference. I'm having a blast.
Cool.
It's been a really good experience meeting
Congrats.
Ben for the first time today. It's been great.
That's exciting.
Yeah, super
Exciting.
excited.
I got a year and 4 months left. Not counting down, but we're counting down.
Tearing the pages off the calendar.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Burning
right.
them.
How many more
Yeah.
tests we got left? So it's good.
Oh no, I got
I
2
know you
months.
still got a ways.
Yeah.
So hearing this great story about this acute care setting person going in there, getting what she wanted without having the need to bring a baseball bat to the negotiating table. What are you dropped a bunch of gems for us to take home? If you can sum it up to a mindset that somebody going in, like Daimir, boom, you're going into this ortho setting to apply for a position.
Right.
What's your mindset going to be when you have a sit down interview with this employer?
100K.
That's more of a price.
Yeah.
So we're talking mindset. Like,
No.
If
That's my mindset, right? So I'm thinking 100K, but I'm going to demonstrate that through showing my value, right? So of course the monetary aspect is what I have in my head, but it's also the value I'm going to bring on top of that. That Ben
okay. So what, like Ben said, all right. So I'll play devil's advocate. I'll be your employer. What if your employer says, well, I just hired a new grad for $60,000 and laughed at you in the face with your 100K bullshit?
I would literally say what he just said and then add more onto what I know and then what I learned out through school. And then I'm going to do a residency and again adding value that way. So, not only just through patient, interaction, so on and so forth. I talk about the numbers. Hey, I seen you all lacking here. I see you all lacking there. And these are my strong suits. So that's what I'll try to do.
He mentioned residency. Yesterday, I was at a talk. The guy next to me, I got to talking about him. He ended up doing physical therapy for a Major League Baseball team. He went in for the interview, and he said, "Why did y'all pick me?" And the interviewer said, "You see that stack of resumes over there? You're the only one that had a residency, so I picked you." And he was able to put a face to himself and to her and to meet in person and all that, and he was able to drive and make it. So he put in that extra effort and work to get that.
Yeah.
I know you have some questionable opinions about residencies. I think I've heard
A little. Well, it's really. Let me back it up to the mindset.
Okay.
Right. So the mindset really is. You said the V word, value.
Value,
Right.
yes.
What is your value proposition? Right. Because traditionally, the value proposition is the job to be done, gains that you can make for people, pains that you can alleviate.
Yes.
You combine those three, that's something unique. Right? And your unique is a little different than somebody else's unique. But you do need to have both on a conceptual and on a financial or operational standpoint, what extra do you bring?
Right.
And it could be anything. Like a pain kill for most people is scheduling. Right? I got to get my weekends filled. Or I got to have later hours for work comp or earlier hours for work comp.
Right.
A gain that you can make, hey, I noticed you guys don't have a vestibular program. Or I
Right.
noticed you guys don't have a shoulder
Wellness
program.
program.
Exactly.
Right.
I noticed you guys don't have a transitional program or telehealth.
Right.
So those are things, or marketing, right?
Mhm.
Those
Yeah,
are things
absolutely.
you can add. Now, in terms of mindset, it's really, I loved it. There's no backing down, and that's really what we have to do. Is we can't go into interviews thinking I have to be accepted by everyone.
Right.
Like I'm all over Twist going, please, take me. You can't have that.
Help me pay my
Right,
loan.
you can't have that because that's not the world we live in.
They know that,
Right.
right?
They know.
Yeah, they know.
Dirty.
They know.
Dirty.
And here's the thing, places that treat you like that are not for you.
Right, absolutely.
They're just not for you. And so even if they give you an offer, you can just respectfully decline. You want the places that treat you and accept you as a valuable team member and partner in crime. They may not partner you in with equity, but you need to be treated that way, and they need to understand that your dreams are bigger. You want to grow into this situation, not just be a little piece of it, right?
Yeah.
So that's the mindset piece. Then we talked, I forgot what the next thing we were talking about.
We brought up residencies.
Residency. Okay, so my thing with
Great.
residencies
Yeah.
is residency right now is not mandated.
Absolutely.
I believe residency is an excellent thing for our profession. However, it's not a great thing economically for
Right.
our students
Right.
and our new grads because typically they're paid 50 to 75% of full-time equivalent, typically lowballed, right? And they don't work full-time, so they're not making that much. They're typically making somewhere between an aide and a high-paid PT assistant. That's just the truth. But you're also getting a lot of value as a resident because you're learning all sorts of stuff that you wouldn't learn for 5 or 10 years.
Right.
So there's that. So what do my recommendation to our colleagues and industry members and especially leaders that are in control of this is encourage business units and cultures of organizations to preferentially hire and compensate residency and fellowship trained clinicians.
Absolutely.
You just have to, because if there's no economic incentive to change behavior, there will never be an incentive change. But what happened when we had a healthcare market? Regardless of the political stuff, because we can argue about that all day. But one thing we will not argue about is when people had to pay more money out of pocket, health became an issue. And I cared. Right? If I'm going to get charged more because I have these markers that cost me money up front, I'm going to cut that out. Right? Who called Canada? Right? Oh, it was me? All right, well, I'm cutting out that super slushy every Friday. That's what it is. And so the positive is the same. Oh, wait, hold it. 2 new grads, 2 doctors of physical therapy, 1 with a highly recommended and valued residency trained program, OCS, SES, whatever you want to call it. Let's give this guy a bump. Let's make it worth his time because he's bringing that much value. And we also know with value-based pay around the corner in healthcare, this person, if they are completely and fully applying themselves, are going to bring that much more data for a business unit to go, hey, look, insurance company, hey, look, consumers. We provide care where you get better, feel better, faster, saves you money, and you always want to come back.
Of course. Disneyland experience.
The Disneyland experience, exactly.
So yeah, you were talking about the job offer that you got. So you want to talk about that and then how Dr. Fun helped you out with that?
Yeah. So I purchased Dr. Ben's career primer, and he helped with my resume and getting ready for CSM and how to present yourself. And I actually got a contract offer for a first job, and it's really exciting. But I went way out all my options beforehand. But it's just a great feeling right as you're about to graduate from school to finally have that first offer.
What setting?
It's an outpatient setting. It's back home in New Jersey. So whoever's watching from back home,
get ready.
Homecoming.
Go see it.
Right, and it's never too early.
Right.
It's never too early to start networking and setting up these pipelines. And it's not like I'm going to hustle, sell. It's let me make a meaningful connection. Let's get to know each other. Right?
Absolutely.
That's really what it's about.
Email back and forth, and you'd be surprised. I mean, even some of the schools I got accepted to, they were like, man, you've been emailing us for years.
Yes.
Years with an S. So finally, when I started the interview, I'm shaking hands with them. I'm like, we just met in person for the first time. Thank you. You know, got accepted later. So it was awesome. Yeah, I agree. Some of those connections are awesome.
That's something, too, we talk about putting yourself out there, and what selling is that I'm just now learning more about marketing and selling. Because back when I was, a little douchebag growing up, I was
McKinley High.
Yeah, shout out to McKinley.
McKinley.
I was a little hipster, and I was like, marketing's that's for sellers and all these whack people, marketers. I hate marketers because they. Cigarettes, right? They branding. They want
advertising.
Zero calories, but 40 sugars. Calories.
And you hate that, right? Because you have this perception due to all the shit marketers. Shout out to Gary Vee, wherever he is. He's probably choking on something right now. That make you you have this impression of like you go to ESPN, like Gary Vee says, and you see the truck ad, and you're like, oh, I hate Toyota. And then you go to whatever other event, and then people are in your face saying, hey, buy my stuff, use my product, use this shampoo, it'll make your hair be as beautiful as Steven's. And that tainted my impression of what marketing is and what selling is. And now to have Jedis like you with pure of heart and noble soul to come and say, hey, you can have that thought for the bad marketing and for the bad selling, but also you need to promote yourself.
Absolutely.
And somebody, I think it was you or Gene that's like, or Greg Todd that's like, you need to approach marketing and selling as like building relationships and letting people know how you can help them.
Yes. It's providing value first. It's making a meaningful relationship, the connection, the conversation. And I forgot where I heard this, but they said, if you sell by presenting a solution, it's no longer selling. It's not like, no, this is a great deal, you should buy now. The time's ticking. It's not that kind of thing. It's going, hey, I think you have a need. I see a need. I have something for you that can solve that need. And take it or leave it. And perhaps, it's crazy because it's coined a sales tactic, and I don't like that because I feel it makes this particular approach cheaper because it's not a cheap approach. It's an authentic approach. Telling somebody not to use you because somebody else is better is one of the best ways to develop trust, especially if you mean it. You know, and I do that all the time. Yeah, I'll do that all the time. I'll say, look, you know what? I can do some of these things for you, but some of these things else is not upper extremity. I'm going to make it worse. So don't come to me. I mean, in fact, I won't. I'd like to take your money, but I won't take your money because I'm just going to be ripping you off. But if you go to my partner or my friend down the street, you're going to get your money's worth and more.
Right. But then they're going to tell 3 other people what you just did, and they're going to send those 3 people to you, not upper extremity. And so you'll see that.
Exactly. And so that's really what it is. It's just being authentic is just so important, especially now with all this. I mean, we have all these devices. If you guys can see, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 devices, 6 devices, electronic plug-in to make sure that we don't lose power on this thing. Which we wish we had a little bit more. But you know, like that's the thing is, there's so much transparency now. People that are guarded, like I don't want to share. That comes across as so just false. You know, and it comes across as like I have something to hide. You know. Versus something live like this, we're not editing this. No. You know, like we're bumbling over our words.
Calibi.
Doing it live,
Calibi. You know, like because we're real. Right? And I think if we could all spread this thought and this mindset and this belief of how we approach life, our industry would just be completely transformed.
Agreed. Good words.
So I do have since we're talking about value, I do have another question for Ben is, what type of example would be like a value-based pay system in a outpatient practice?
All right. Want to close with this then maybe?
Yes.
All right, let's close with this one.
Cool.
All right, so we were talking about this a little while back, and I actually help practices build this stuff out. It can be as simple as production only. Now that's not great because now you don't have quality measures. It's just how many patients have you seen? I give you more of a cut. The more patients you see, I give you a bigger cut and a bigger cut and a bigger cut because those are patients I usually don't see because nobody wants to work more than 8 hours a day. Right? So I mean, that is value in a certain way because it's bringing financial value. But is it bringing value to the customer? We're not sure. So how do you do that? My best recommendation is you use multipliers. All right, you use conditional multipliers. So here's an example. Say you see your full patients a day and you saw a couple extra. Well, you deserve a little bigger cut on the extra ones. But let's qualify this with how good is your outcomes across the average, say a quarter at a time, and how good is your patient satisfaction scores and narrative qualities. Do people say, you know, Myers best, I will only go to him, right? Is Adam the only one I want to see, right? See, he's the only person I trust with my neck, right? This guy is the only person I trust with my knee, right? Is that what we're hearing? Right? And so then you have this 2x2 kind of score. It may be more complicated. But then let's multiply that, you know, by the production. And now what you have is, you have how much money I made. If I brought more value across that matrix, let's give you a little more. Let's multiply that, say, by, you know, 1.05. Let's give you a 5% equity boost off of that earning. Or the other, because we know there's good PTs, there's bad PTs. I have off days. Or maybe I have off years, right? Or maybe sometimes people need to up their game. But we've talked about this. If you don't make a financial pressure for people to change their behavior, they will not.
Absolutely.
So if you have consistently terrible patient reviews, no outcomes whatsoever, you're seeing people forever and they're not getting better, and they're complaining about you all the time. Maybe you were supposed to earn $5,000 this month. Well, maybe we need to dock that down to 4,500 or 4,000, or maybe less. What will happen? You'll have behavior change. What will happen is everybody's going to be, okay, I got to use the best science I know, and I have to treat everybody like royalty. Right? Because then what's going to happen? We're all going to raise the bar together. And those that don't want to play this game are going to self-select out. And that's fine. This new culture isn't for them. But if this new culture sounds good, that's value-based pay at the employer level. Now, Adam, you might have been asking in your head, what about at the global scale? Guys, it's already happening. People already talk about it. Insurances, Medicare, they're all talking about this already, and they're going to treat businesses the same way. All right? Like, oh, you're seeing my patient way too many times. You're wasting my resources. I'm going to pay you less. Oh, they complain about you all the time. You know, like you're always late, or you spend no time with them, or, you know, you treat them terribly. I'm going to pay you less. That's already in the works. And people, and it starts always, everything starts from the ground up. So if you're not preparing your businesses for this type of economy, you're already behind. You have to catch up. And I'm not the only expert, right? And I'm not an expert. I don't know the insurance side. Like, I'll tell you to find an insurance expert, but I know the employment side. And on the employment side, I guarantee you, if you give quality multipliers, rewarding excellent service and excellent outcomes, people will elevate their game.
Absolutely.
Value-based pay.
So one thing that's just popping into my head is natural selection.
Yeah. It's just gonna start plugging people out. Like, nope.
Therapists aren't gonna have
Survival
beaks
of the
anymore.
fittest.
The beaks are gonna just
Grow wings, guys. Grow wings.
We'll have wings.
Grow wings and fly. And it's a choice.
We'll waddle.
It's a choice.
Yeah. All right.
Man,
Thank you.
Dr.
Close us
Ben
out.
Fung. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who is
Appreciate
Ray? Is Ray? Who's Ray?
Ray? Oh, man. That's a whole nother podcast. All right. I think it'd be cool if Ray was a Palpatine. Because then you've double flipped the coin. Because if Ray was a Palpatine, and we know right now that Kylo Ren is supposedly evil, what if the evil was good and the good was evil? What if the Force awakened that way?
No.
I've read the book. I'm still confused.
You're blowing
I'm
my mind
still
right now.
confused.
This is too much
I don't know.
meta.
I don't know.
There's a swap?
If there's a swap,
Star Wars has been like this big story, like from the beginning. I swear, like
Swap.
who created Star Wars again? I forgot.
George
Lucas.
Lucas. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
get off the
George
podcast!
Lucas.
It's almost like he came from the future and then went back to the 80s. Like, I'm going to create this
That's what he
movie
did.
to create like this long-standing like story that no one like.
And it'll be never finished.
Yeah, it'll
That's
never
the
be
beauty.
finished.
That's the beauty.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a living
he's from the
story.
future. I promise
It's
you.
a living
I
story.
promise you. He came from the
R.I.P.
future.
Han Solo.
Thank y'all.
All right.
Appreciate
Thank you for
it.
joining.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.